Despite record turnout voters in this year's election, the race to see who became the next president of the United States was razor thin. Theodore Johnson is a senior fellow at the Brennan Center for Justice. He talked about Black Americans and their voting behavior. He stated that one of the most defining features of American politics is the Black American vote. For nearly 6 decades, about 90% of Black Americans have voted for the Democratic candidate for president and for congressional elections. This year's exit polls from AP Votecast have showed that 90% of Black Americans supported Joe Biden and 8% supported Donald Trump. Black Americans came out in huge numbers for Biden due to the terrible year they have had, with COVID-19 killing them disproportionately and the deaths that led to the BLM protests. Frank Sherry is the executive director of America's Voice, an immigration reform advocacy organization. He said that the Trump administration demonized immigration from the very beginning, and President Trump and his administration have destroyed America's immigration system. However, given how the election has now panned out in 2020, Sherry said that we can now say the administration's reliance on racism and xenophobia has failed. He added that Donald Trump and his extremism forced the American citizens to choose, and they have chosen to be on the side of immigrants and refugees. Dr. Steven Nuno Perez is a senior analyst at Latino Decisions and spoke about the Latino vote. He stated that similar to the Black votes impacting battleground states, it is extremely difficult to win an election in the western states like Phoenix, Las Vegas, Albuquerque, and Los Angeles without Latino votes. Again, similar to the Black Americans, the Latino turnout that has impacted this election also has a lot to do with an extremely hostile administration targeted towards them. John Yang, President and Executive Director of Asian Americans Advancing Justice, AAJC, added that over 300,000 Asian Americans participated in this election for the first time, even before Election Day, based on numbers by an organization called Catalyst. And about a third of those Asian Americans live in battleground states, and they specifically contributed about 11% of votes to Nevada, 4% to Arizona and Pennsylvania, and almost 5% of Georgia. Mark Trahan, publisher of The Indian Country Today, spoke about Native Indian Americans. During this election, 6 Native Americans were elected to the House of Representatives, and that's a big change from before. The next Congress will have a true Native American caucus with 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans, and they'll be able to give a bipartisan spin on Native issues. The Native vote has also increased in Navajo, Hopi, and Apache counties due to the groundwork put in by the Democratic Party mainly. Minorities played a huge role in this election. They together made the difference in battleground states and flipping them from the Trump administration to a hopeful Biden administration.